In. Welcome to Royalty and Power, where the mind, body, family, and finances becomes a throne. I'm Gabaria, and today we are going to discuss the shape of existence. That's right, we're going to discuss the shape of existence. This would include the universe as well as the earth. We are going to use the King James Version Bible. We'll be studying from Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 19. We will be implementing the Hebrew language as well as conceptual frameworks so that we can have a visual depiction to convey what is written. Now, without further ado, let's go right on in and start at Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Okay, now this is considered a prologue, as the earth didn't come into being until the third day, and it's nowhere mentioned here on the first day. So no heaven or earth made on the first day. We go to verse 2. "And the earth was without form and void," which is substantiating that the earth nor the heavens existed then. It's telling you the earth was without form and void. The Hebrew words for form and void would be tohu and bohu. Both indicate absent or empty, desolate, nothing there. So this would read verse 1, "In the beginning, God made everything." And before the earth had a form and was filled with anything, now we go finish in verse 2. "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep." Okay, so let's break this down real quick, because this existed and was not spoken into existence. So it's eternal. So let's look at this darkness upon the face of the deep. Well, if there is no space, nothing existed yet. Where is deep? Which direction is deep? Let's look at this and use deductive reasoning, and then let's find some correspondence in the Hebrew language for the word deep. If there's no space, then it can't be physically going deep. So it acts as a principle. Things that are deep or continually going deep, as this is an eternal deepness, are diminishing in visibility. Anything going deep or descending would be diminishing from visibility, which corresponds to a diminishment of anything being revealed, or diminishment of revelation, which corresponds to a diminishment of existence, as anything revealed exists, and things exist in a fullness when they are revealed. This darkness upon the face of the deep was diminishing all forms of existence. So the principle of darkness upon the face of the deep is the energy of continual non-existence. Now, how could non-existence exist? Or how could nothing be something? Well, nothing is a state of existence or something. It exists as non-existence. That is its state of being. It exists as non-existence. The Hebrew word for darkness here also is chashak, or chashek, which would indicate like destruction, death, wickedness, confusion, ignorance, sorrow. The Hebrew word also for face used here for darkness upon the face of the deep. The Hebrew word for face is pana or pani, which means presence. It can mean presence. So the Hebrew word deep is taham, which is like an abyss or something bottomless. So darkness upon the face of the deep can be translated as destruction upon the presence of the bottomless. This is simply describing a state of endless non-existence. This is why wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction. Wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction. Now, let's go ahead and dissect this. Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So we got the Spirit of God, which is eternal. So let's deal with the Spirit of God moved. And the Spirit of God moved. Well, that could be concluded. Well, we know that through scientific research that this is the cosmic background radiation, that the universe was extremely hot. And we know heat energy is caused by the movement of atoms. And the movement of atoms is vibrational. So we're gonna get back to the concept of an atom. I sure want to touch on that, as there are three components here, just like in an atom. But let's stay on track for now. The movement or vibration from the spirit, as we see this right angle, right spiral, right movement, right angle vibration, as right spirals, things that spiral to the right ascend, and vice versa, things that spiral to the left descend. So the movement, or this vibratory movement from the Spirit of God, that is what caused this intense heat in the beginning of the universe, which is seen, the evidence of it is seen in the cosmic background radiation, which is seen in the universe, indicating a very, very hot starting point, which indicates something had to be moving, and we see clearly the Spirit of God was moving from all eternity. So it's scientifically sound, corresponds with the evidence in our experience. Now let's get on the face of the water, because the Spirit of God moved on the face of the water. So the darkness is eternal, the Spirit of God is eternal, and the face of the water is eternal. Now, let's go deeper. The Hebrew word for face, like we said, was pani or pana, depending on how you pronunciate it, same. And that means, that gives the sense of being in the presence. So the darkness was descending into non-existence, and the Spirit of God moved upon the presence of the water. Now, that presence, since there is no space, would encapsulate. There is no space to be anywhere other than with it, sort of like a what is that? A proton and a neutron. They are together. So this gives also the sense of the womb, as we see here at the base form, that Yah, at this base form, is existence, and is in the womb virtually genderless until the giving birth of himself, which we're going to get to right in the next verse, in verse 3. But before we do, we just want to go a little deeper into the Spirit of God moved on the face of the water. Let's break down this word moved. The Hebrew word for move is ramash, which indicates a shaking or a fluttering. This shaking or fluttering was a way to describe vibrational energy. This moving or vibration, this moving is the principles of existence. They are vibrating and connecting, creating combinations, expounding on one another, coming together, unified. And the frequency of the vibrational waves that were coming from the principles of existence, that frequency had to be low due to the vibrations expanding deeply into darkness, as the darkness had depth, and any vibrational wave with depth would be low or have a base to it. And let's consider the amplitude of the wave, of these vibrational waves from the principles of existence. The amplitude had to be high due to the combination of the vibrations of all the principles of existence increasing each other. So let's say like, okay, you got principle A and principle B. Both combine and create principle C. But principle C can now combine with A, and principle B can now combine with C. And then they can do a vice versa combination where it is A combining with C, and then C combining with A, and then B combining with C, and then C combining with B, and so forth. And this could continue to expound with the more principles combined. So they grow exponentially. They increase in rate. They strengthen each other. So the amplitude had to be high and the frequency had to be low. So it was loud with bass. Each word was an explosion, and let's read those words. Each word sounded like an explosion, I should say. And let's get it in verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So God now has manifested himself, as we see he went from Yah to which is existence, and then he manifested the fullness, and now he is the state of existing. That is this light. He has manifested himself through the light. And just to touch real quick, as I already slightly did on the concept of the atomic structure, that we have the light, which acts as the proton of an atom, the water that is with the Spirit of God, which corresponds to the neutron of an atom, and the surrounding darkness corresponds to the electron of an atom. As we see, as above, so below. The highest state of existence is mirrored and corresponded in the lowest form of existence that is within this dimension. As when you start to go into the atom, you go into the quantum realm, which is a different dimension. So the atom is the foundation of our experience, the dimension we can experience, which is a fractal of the highest state of existence that can be experienced, which is God's experience. So the Spirit of God corresponds to positive energy. The water corresponds to the neutron or neutrality, and the surrounding darkness is the electron or negative energy. Now, there needs to be a new breakdown, because the darkness was separated from the light. So this means God got a new being, and we'll touch on that. So first, let's look at this. All that is eternal is one with an eternal God. As we see, all sections or all parts are one or eternal with the Spirit. So the Spirit would represent the mind, and the water would represent the connection, which would be like a nervous system, and the darkness corresponds to the fleshly body or external. So we got the Spirit corresponding to the mind, the water corresponding to the nervous system or the connection in between the two, and the darkness is the body. So the old body or the original body was separated, you're cast off, and a new body or a new vessel came into being. This second vessel or being God takes on when he revealed his existence through the manifestation of the spoken light. This manifestation of the spoken light, which is the revelation of his existence, this would instantly make the Spirit within the Father, which would be the controlling, the controlling power inside, the leading power inside. As the Hebrew word for father is Abba, and Abba in Hebrew means father or power inside. So this would be the gender manifestation, as the manifestation revealed that the source of existence is male, and God is considered male due to expanding or dominating, the expanding and dominating light, as darkness submits or withdraws, and the light is controlling the contraction or the submission or the withdrawal as it expands. So it becomes the power inside, and that power inside is a conquering, dominating, controlling power. That is why the God of Israel is considered male in his manifestation. And the light is also considered male, as the light became the sun or builder, which is what sun means in Hebrew. The Hebrew word for sun is ban or bin, which means builder. So the light became the builder. How so? Well, light is the foundation of all existence. It is the builder of all things. Light is made of vibrational principles or words, and that light or word is Christ. And all things are built upon that light or word, and that light or word created all things, which makes that light or word God and ruler over all things it manifested out of itself, as there was nothing else to manifest anything out of, and nothing else existed except for the light. Couldn't manifest anything out of anything else. That is the foundation for everything that represents existence. For everything that doesn't represent existence but exists, that is manifested from the surrounding darkness. So, but that was cast off. So now we still on God's new vessel. So the water became the Holy Ghost or mother, because the water produced the reflection or image and likeness of the Father, which was the Spirit within. It produced the reflection. It bared the image and likeness, or it bared the seed of the Father and brought it forth. So the water is considered a feminine energy. The water is considered the Holy Ghost or feminine energy, because not only does it bear witness and brings forth the reflection or image and likeness of that which has planted seed, or that which has expanded itself, its image and likeness within, as this water acts as the womb. It is an incubator for the spirit, just like the womb is an incubator for a child, and it is surrounded by water. And so the water represents that feminine energy. But the water is also a vessel for God, as it bears his image and likeness, and expands and dominates with the light. So it's in masculine energy as well. And that's why you see in the scriptures the Holy Ghost is described in both feminine and masculine energy, as this would correspond to it originally or foundationally being a neutral point, a neutrality. So we go deeper. The manifestation is this manifestation is eternal. The concept of the three, the spirit, the water, and the spirit's reflection off of the water, always existed. The reflection is the spirit. It is under the subjection of the spirit. It does the will of the spirit. The water always produced the reflection. So they always existed. The water was always the barrier or being a part of the being of the Spirit. They were always connected. So this is an image of existence. Now let's look at the word face a little bit deeper. As the Hebrew word face for face is panir panah, which means presence, but it can also mean angles. The angles are the various combinations of the principles of existence. The various combinations of the principles of existence. These are the angles that are being pursued during the movement of the Spirit. These angles produce what is proposed as the reflection effect. The reflection effect produces a witness to the information combinations as a third or additional aspect of information being combined. As we said, if bit of information A combines with bit of information B, the combination will produce bit of information C, but that could be combined in a myriad of ways with both A and B. So they expound. And these angles of information combinations that reflect the principles of existence are the different ways God sees himself, because God is these principles. God is the principles of existence. And the various ways God sees the reflection of himself, these various ways he sees himself are the saints, or those with him before the foundation of the earth. And this would also include the rest of existence, the universe, the earth, the animals, the chemicals, etc. All that which is designed to substantiate, sustain, promote, and maintain existence. So the Spirit moved upon the angles of the water to see all the aspects of his reflection. The different angles reveal different saints, or different aspects of his reflection, or different manifestations of existence. The most direct and inclusive angle, of course, would reveal Christ. That is the most direct and inclusive angle. So what we have here, we have, as a recap, the Spirit in the form of existence, being surrounded by the incubating water that was bearing its reflection and connecting it or separating it from its external. It's a vessel on the end. So that would be the body, as the darkness would act as the body. And this Spirit then manifested itself, and gender was given. And that Spirit took on the gender of male and became father, and then reproduced himself as the light was able to manifest its image and likeness, and the light became its image and likeness. So the light was able to produce the image and likeness and become the image and likeness. So the light became the vessel or the being. The word became the vessel or the being, as the light and the word are one and the same. They both came into being together. When he said, "Let there be light," they both came together. That vibrational energy that produced the light, they are one. That vibrational energy, that is his image. The light is the revelation of himself. So the light reflects his image and likeness, and the light is his image and likeness. And the water bears witness or brings forth that image and likeness, and the water is also the vessel in which that image and likeness is within. So this is all just one God expressing himself in a triune fashion. Just like you have a mind, you have a nervous system, which connects you to your body. It's the same in principle. We are made in the image and likeness of God. we also see that this magnetic energy, if there was something pulling in all directions, it would make spherical energy. And then if there was something expanding in all directions, it would make spherical energy. So we see this is the domain, this spherical energy is the domain of God, and this is the image of existence. This is what existence looks like. The light expanding in all directions, being surrounded by the water it was in the presence of, and moving in angles and that which surrounded it was endless darkness that were constantly diminishing or pulling away from the revelation of existence, as there was no light. And then the light came into being. So this is all a manifestation of one God. And in this manifestation, you have what is known as the 12 principles of manifestation, or 12 principles of existence, or 12 universal laws. We'll break that down, and then we'll go right into the manifestation of the universe. So within this, we have oneness. Regardless of how it may be perceived or expressed, there is one controlling power that is the source of all things. That one controlling power is revealed here and is the source of all things, as it was alive or conscious or moving. The darkness, although it is eternal, had no life or conscious or movement in it. And this is why God said he created the light and the darkness, the good and the evil. He's the controller of them all. And this is why we see Satan under the subjection of God, not trying to fight God, when he goes and presents himself with the angels of God in the book of Job. And we see the demons don't try to fight Christ, but bow under his subjection. So the story of heaven needs to be retold, especially that breakdown in Isaiah, as it doesn't correspond with Genesis, the popular story of Satan having a fight with God. Not so. Doesn't correspond with here. Darkness was always separated from that which was the Spirit of God. And it was always under the subjection of that which was the Spirit of God, and could never assert authority. It could never. Life is what controls. So, and that is the eternal principle. Now let's look at the second principle, the principle of relativity. You will relate to either the principles of light, existence, or the principles of darkness, non-existence. You got two sources, and with those two sources comes the third principle, which is duality, that all of existence expresses two sides of a spectrum. When there are two sides of a spectrum, the concept of gender manifests, and gender is the fourth principle, the expression of two opposing sides, one being the weaker, one being the stronger, one being the leader, one being the follower. Okay, so with this leads us into the fifth principle, which is the transmutation of energy, or transmutation. That would be that vibrational energy, or energy in motion, will eventually become visible as the Spirit of God, vibrating or being in motion, when it moved upon the angles of the water, it became visible. It produced light. So that corresponds or goes right into the sixth principle, which is cause and effect, that outward manifestations are the effect of inward manifestations. So external expressions are always the effect of internal expressions. And this is rooted in the internal movement, eventually producing an external manifestation. Now that leads us into the seventh principle, which is correspondence, that outward manifestations reflect their inward source. That's outward manifestations reflect their inward source. Within the light you can find the source, which is the principles of existence, or the Word. The Word was forever settled in heaven. You can find the principles of existence within the light. Now that takes us to the eighth principle, which is attraction. Inward manifestations can control outward manifestations. The inward manifestation of the principles of existence combining controls the outward manifestation of darkness. That it controls it through its expansion. So the inward manifestation, it is in control of outward manifestations in that it attracts to it that which will allow it to express itself. So the inward manifestation, or the principle of attraction, when you have an inward manifestation, it allows you to attract, it puts you in positions to attract that which will allow the manifestation. So in essence, the vibration of the words attracted the light. The vibrations of the words attracted the light. That it was them heating up. Remember, we touched on the universe being very, very hot in the beginning. The vibrations of the principles of existence heated up. And that heat attracted light. That inward manifestation of the principles vibrating attracted the outward manifestation, which was the light. That lit existence, that became the expression of existence. So this is really, really deep. As many people know about the law of attraction, that's why I'm expounding on it a little heavier, because everybody knows about the law of attraction, but not the other 11 that go with it. So those inward manifestations that heated up the principles and produced the light. This is why God said he's a consuming fire as well, because those principles vibrating heated up. And it consumed. What did it consume? It went forth and consumed. It conquered. That was the consuming light, that consuming fire that went forth and conquered, dominated, established itself, its existence. So now we go right after attraction, which is principle 9, the principle of action. That internal vibrations will be attracted to things of similar frequency so that they can become visible. So the internal vibrations, or the vibrations of the principles of existence, were attracted to each other. They created combinations and expounded because they were similar in frequency. So this is why the scriptures say there is no evil in him. The principles of existence can only attract things of similar frequency, which is the principles of existence. He is life, and life more abundantly. So now we go into the principle 10, the principle of compensation. All actions are vibrations which have a restoring force relative to its extension. So compensation tells you that since everything is vibrating and vibrations move about in equilibrium and come back, it'll have a restoring force or a rebound. It will come back relative to the energy of its extension. So his word will not come back void. When the vibrations exploded, it was compensated with the manifestation of existence. He gave birth to himself. The vibration is the 11th principle, which tells you that everything is vibrating, or everything is in motion, and motion or vibration is eternal and is the foundation of all things. And this would go right into the 12th principle, which is rhythm, that vibrations involve a specific time and oscillation. There's a timing or a rate in which it expands or extends and oscillates back around its equilibrium point. There's a season for the word to return unto you. So there was a timing or a process. And this is why You know what? I'm not finna go into that. I was just about to go into how the 12 principles correspond to martial arts and how they involved. That's a whole nother study. Let's get into the origin and creation of the universe. Okay, now this is we're going into verse 6. So just to remind and touch back that this manifestation here, this is the first day, which is the manifestation of himself, as he is the Aleph or the Aleph or the Alpha, the first of all things, and the Thu or the Tav or the Omega of all things as well. He's the beginning and the end. Now, verse 6 in Genesis chapter 1, God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." So that's what we see here. There's a firmament or a space. And this firmament, the Hebrew word for firmament is rakia. Now, the Hebrew word rakia, it means an arch-like expanse or an arch-like shape, a dome-like shape that is above. So a dome-like shape above us. So rakia would be this dome-like shape. This is the firmament. But to go deeper into the Hebrew word rakia, this actual shape is the shape of the letter that is within rakia, or the pictograph, the Hebrew pictograph in rakia, and it corresponds. The Hebrew pictograph is the quoth, and it is the exact same shape. We'll touch more on that in a second and what that actually means. So verse 7, "And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven." So wait, let's go back to verse 7. "And God made the firmament and divided the waters." That's what this little squiggly is right here. "Divided the waters which were under the firmament." So the firmament is this space. And then you got the little squiggly, that's the water underneath the space, "from the waters which were above the firmament," or above the space. So now this water was separated, since we considering that space is coming into being with the firmament, considering the firmament as heaven or as space, that this water was separated in all directions as space was being made in all directions. So this water was full. But even if it was only in certain sections, it wouldn't matter. The end result would end up being the same. So verse 8, "And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." So now we're going to see why it would be the same. "And God said, Let the waters under the heaven," which is the firmament, "let the waters under the heaven be gathered unto one place, and let dry land appear." So all the water got gathered together in one place. No other water out there in the firmament or the universe or heaven. No other water out there except for the waters that is surrounding God, which the water here on earth comes from the water that's surrounding God, and both are eternal according to the scriptures. So when you see water, you see eternity according to the scriptures. And the dry land appearing, well, this is the manifestation of the earth. This came on the third day. So the dry land appearing came on the third day. This is the earth. The earth was not manifested on the first day, or in verse 2, which they try to say this firmament is over the manifested earth. No, the firmament came and then the manifested earth came. All right, then this firmament is this space that is separating the waters of earth from the waters that is under the throne of God. And this is really deep because the scriptures talk about water being under the throne of God, and that heaven is God's throne. So we got this light, this is God's throne. We got this water, which is underneath God's throne. And when we look at the concept of the word heaven, it is Shemayim, not the heaven that is Rakia, but the Shemayim, the heaven where the spirit is. Shemayim would mean to hear from the waters. We can even break it down further. One of the words in the word heaven, or Shemayim, is Sham, and Sham means nature. So nature would be the spirit. And then we got Shemai, which means to hear. So to hear from the spirit. And then we got Mayim, which is waters. So to hear the spirit in the waters, or from the waters. Hear the spirit through the water. That is what heaven is. That is what heaven is. That's a breakdown of this concept now. When we go deeper, we see in what's this, verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let dry land appear. And it was so. And the dry land he called earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. And God saw it was good. Then he created the vegetation. Okay, now we go on to verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also, planets included. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and to rule over the night. And it was so. And this was the fourth day. So time came into being on the fourth day. Time manifested on the fourth day. And the earth existed before the calculation of time. The water existed before the calculation of time. This is deep, because this would bring physical reality directly in connection to spiritual existence, and that there is seems to be some sort of gray shaded area or commonality between the two, if they are kind of one and the same thing, as all physical experience is made out of the spirit. But the things that are actually in our physical experience, like water is physical, comes from a place before there was any aspect of time or space or any other form of matter. So this would also go to the space that is above the gathering of the waters or the earth. This space is within something that is eternal, these waters. And there is an actual barrier that will lead to an even deeper eternity. Are things physical? Are things spiritual? How could the physical be physical if the physical could lead to the spirit? Let's go deep. Where is the location of this, considering the physical can lead to the spirit? Where is this location? As we get clues, the scriptures say, know ye not that your help, your blessings, all that comes from the north? Okay. Above. All right. So now so before we touch on that, because that is a whole nother study. That would be the manifestation of experience. Where is your experience? Where is existence? And we're going to touch on that because it actually has a physical locality. That's another episode. Let's get back to Rakia. So the Hebrew word Rakia, it takes on the meaning of a vault or this shape, a arch-like expanse. But within the word Rakia, there is the letter Quoth, or the pictograph Quoth, which is the exact same shape as this expanse. And the Rakia, or the firmament, holds time, and the letter Quoth also represents time. The pictograph Quoth, the Hebrew pictograph Quoth, represents time. So the Rakia is the structure that holds time, and the word Rakia holds the structure or pictograph that represents time. So they are corresponding to one another. the meaning is in the word and the word is in the meaning. They double, which brings more witness to this shape. This shape we see, this would go deep into the what we call hyperbolic, as it is arched. It could be considered spherical, as it corresponds to this shape, the pictograph here. There's another half. This other half would make it Euclidean. That line, that dividing line, that flatness could make it Euclidean, but it really couldn't be detected as Euclidean because that is the side of nothingness, non-existence, non-manifestation, no visibility or no ability to detect anything. It is nothing but weeping and gnashing of teeth on the other side of the chasm, and no parts. That is where all fire or burning aspect energy will be. And there will be no more sun, moon, and stars, as the light or energy of the Lord will be the light of the earth. And there will be no more need for the sea or barrier. There will be no more need for the barrier in life. Life will be able to freely expand, as all will be of one mind on earth. There will be no barriers between anybody or anything. There will be oneness. And no need for the sea, as the sea is symbolic of a barrier. And it is also symbolic of discernment between good and evil, the differentiation between light and dark. There will be no longer any need of that, as all will know him in his ways. So no more need for discernment. It will only be the light. We will only be focused in on the light, regarding the light. All right, that will be our existence continually. These arrows here represent the expanse of space. These represent the expanse, the dark energy that is fueling the dark matter to continually pull or manifest the magnetic energy of nothingness, pulling it into outer darkness. So this all corresponds with what we say scientific research that we can experience, not nothing somebody just telling us. These are things we can experience, as the scriptures also tell us that he stretcheth out the heavens, hang the earth over an empty place, stretches out the heavens. So we know the earth is sitting in this boundless, nothing emptiness, and that emptiness is being stretched, expanded, which is why everything would be expanded away from the earth. Everything existed after the earth, circulates around the earth until it will be no longer needed. Which is why, again, that will go into the experience aspect and how everything is existing to reveal yourself. So, but that's again a whole nother study. We're gonna wrap this one up right here on that one. Now that we see that existence is spherical, before it was manifested and after it was manifested, man being in the image and likeness of God, which has a domain in spherical energy, his domain would be in spherical energy, before manifested and after manifested. Consider the reproductive organs of both male and female. Consider the water of the womb, the roundness, the spherical energy of the womb that is before manifested, and the water gathering together into one spot would make a big old water ball. So the earth would have spherical energy that is after manifested. So just like God, man exists in spherical energy before manifested and exists in spherical energy after manifested. It is spherical, water gathering together into one place. That would make a water ball, sort of fractal-like, but it would be a water ball. and the dry land appearing on it. It's all spherical. Hopes that that just biblically, just with the word, just destroy the notion of any flat earth, destroy the notion of any flat universe, and bears record to not only what the earth looks like and the universe looks like, but also what existence looks like and how spiritual existence is physically connected to the physical and vice versa. So they might be one and the same. But again, we'll touch on that later. I really, man, I'm keep easing in on it. I want to just, but all right, that's enough. It's been Royalty and Power, or where the mind, body, family, and finances becomes a throne. Also, if you want to go deeper into studies of this nature, while at the same time increasing your financial capabilities, go to the academyofmajesty.org right now, today, and there you will be enrolled into our online school where you can strengthen yourself while we strengthen your finances.